Right, this is exactly how I caught a nice little short dub today on NASDAQ. I don't have the executions here because I just upgraded my account to funded, so this was to pass a few accounts. You can see right here. Hopefully you guys just trust me with this. Literally no trades. You can see up here funded, active, like whatever you want to see here. Literally the first day that I'm going to be trading this is tomorrow on these accounts. So this is the passing trade for these accounts. Without further ado, let me just get straight into it. Where do we even open up? Okay, right here. Okay, so I low-key took like 2 different trades today. I'm just gonna not even go over the first long that I took because it was low-key just complete discretion, and honestly I can't really explain it. I was just feeling a little bit frisky on these evals, and I was like, okay, you know what? Let me try that out. So high time frame, what do we see? Well, first of all, overnight, absolutely insane, right? What do we overnight? Well, we moved down 4% out of the blue. We edged this high and then we move down 4%. So what am I seeing off this? Well, initially I'm bearish, right? I'm like, okay, damn, we looking pretty bearish right now in the high time frame. We just moved down 4%. I'm not really trying to long all the way in this discount, which I did, but that's besides the point. What do we have on both indexes? We have this unfilled 4-hour right here on ES, and we have this intermediate low and this unfilled 4-hour on NQ. Overall, we have this weekly intermediate low down here. So like honestly what I was looking to see was just kind of what open did, because with this big range that we created overnight, I really was not kind of unsure if we're going to really move down another 200 points, right? And we might just start reaccumulating on the high time frame, and then maybe Asia does something and then we move tomorrow, right? So that was my idea. What do we have in the hourly? Well, the hourly, you can see we start to slow down a little bit coming into market open. Not necessarily slow down, but we start to reaccumulate, which is what I like to see in this scenario, because this could be our reaccumulation, meaning that it's okay for us to take a position either like short or long. I'm more confident in that, seeing this kind of reaccumulation on the higher time frame after this big move down, because what does the market do? Well, the market moves in AMD, so after we distribute, which is that 4% distribution that happened overnight, we should reaccumulate, remanipulate, and then distribute to either the buy side or the sell side. So that's just kind of how I was viewing it. And you already know, I love my agreed upon DOLs. We had this agreed upon DOL 30-minute. We had this low coming in the day that I was just going to use as a key level. We had this right here. This was also SMT'd, but I didn't really I don't really care about this SMT because we just keep on trading lower, 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 lower. Like originally it was formed here, right? But that failed very fast, so I don't really care about the SMT, and we're still moving down on both indexes. So that's all I really thought coming into the day. I was just looking to target that 30-minute. Lower time frame looked like this. What do we have? Well, we have pre-market accumulation generating low resistance liquidity towards our agreed upon DOL being this 30-minute gap. So what I was looking for into market open was just a manipulation of this low and then any long towards this gap up here. I ended up taking a long right here. It was a 2-minute inversion right here. I ended up taking that, ran my stop at the body, and I hit it was like negative R, but I was just trying to get profit on the accounts. So that was the first trade. I like that. I was like, okay, I'm barely gonna risk anything because I low-key know this is gonna play out for sure, and I'm just trying to get these accounts passed with before I have to stop for the summer. So what do we see after this? Well, we distribute into our agreed upon DOL being that 30-minute gap, right? So we distribute inside of our 30-minute gap. ES still has the hourly above, so do we. We have the hourly intermediate high. ES is inside of what? Well, ES is inside of this 15-minute. There's a prominent swing up there, prominent swing, prominent swing. So we have low resistance liquidity leading towards this high. So I was like, okay, if we start rejecting lower, I want this wick down here, this huge rejection wick. It's not the 930 wick, but we still have 930 price to trade to down here. You can see the body has not been touched yet by this body. So 930 opening is still intact. So I was willing to take shorts off this level right here because we did have that SM. Did we? We did not. Okay, I'm tweaking out. Okay, so what happened after this? Well, we kind of just accumulate a little bit, and we start just pushing higher. At this point, I was still looking for shorts, and then I was like, okay, yeah, we're clearly bullish. Until we hit a higher time frame liquidity pool higher. I'm not sure what it is yet, but We will find out. I was really just focusing on 10 a.m., what 10 a.m. is going to do. So right here, we have the 10 a.m. open. Now, what does 10 a.m. open do? Let's delete this. Well, if we look in the 4-hour, 10 a.m. opens up this 4-hour fair value gap. What do we do at 10 a.m. on both indexes? Well, we mitigate this fair value gap. So what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for price to mitigate this fair value gap right here. And then I can take a short lower to an agreed upon DOL, maybe being like one of these 5 minutes down here, or a 15-minute, right? That we're going to create at 10:15. So you'll see what happens. So we mitigate the 4-hour. What do we do from here? Well, we don't move down at all. We give no short entries, but the market, after distributing again higher, starts to reaccumulate, right? Because again, market distributes. What does it do after that? Well, it reaccumulates, remanipulates, and then redistributes. So that was the key idea behind this. So right here, we're seeing the reaccumulation. So whichever side gets manipulated, I'm willing to target the opposite side. Now, this is when I want to kind of zone in on what happened. Well, we have this 15-minute gap right here. This is a high time frame key level. 15-minute. What do we have on ES? We have that reaccumulation a little bit more upwards, but we still are printing low resistance liquidity towards the 15-minute gap down below. We have 15-minute on ES. What is both indexes doing? They are both trading inside of this 4-hour gap. Now, what was the cherry on top for me personally was the fact that price mitigated the CE of this 4-hour gap, puts in a stop raid, right? So now we're respecting consequent encroachment of this gap, super bearish signal. We have low resistance liquidity leading towards our unmitigated 15-minute gap right here, which is going to be our agreed upon DOL, right? Because what we want to see in the market is, okay, we distribute into one high time frame key level. From here, we should see a rebalance if we get confirmation of distribution after this manipulation of this accumulating range. If we get confirmation of distribution, we should go towards this 15-minute, because if we're bullish, we're going to mitigate it and move higher, and if we're bearish, we're going to mitigate it and trade through it, right? So that was the idea. Play with the candles. We put another stop rate, and I believe it was around here. There was a 30-second inversion. I really should have my trade evade open, but there was a 30-second inversion. We closed like this. So there's a 30-second inversion inside here. I ran my stop at the body. Right here, I think I got filled like it was like halfway down on this second candle. It was like right here I got filled. Yeah. It was like 1.5 something. Yeah. It was like around here. So the overall idea of this trade is, what do we see, right? Well, we see 10 a.m. open. What does 10 a.m. open do? Well, it generates liquidity. Then we have what? We have 10:15 open, manipulate CE of this gap, put in a stop rate, and then we get our confirmation of distribution through this, you could say 1-minute CISD, or there was two 30-second inversions right here after on this manipulation leg. What do we have as targets? Well, we have an agreed upon draw on liquidity, which is one of the strongest draws on liquidity in the markets, and we also have low resistance liquidity leading towards our agreed upon DOL being this unmitigated 15-minute gap, right? So in total, we have AMD structure plus time, great targets, and low resistance leading towards the target. This is completely A+. Now, managing this trade, a little bit wonky, I'm not gonna lie. Big up candle there. What do we do from here? Well, we close down. I'm not going to go break even, because what do we have going towards our target, where we just have tons of low resistance that we should just rip through until we hit the 15 minutes. So I'm not really interested at all in going break even in this trade, right? Unless we really just kind of close below this low, then I'll be willing to go break even. What do we see? Well, we see the market respect this 1-minute gap during my trade. So just based off right here, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, nice. We come up. We end up edging my break even. Yeah, we end up edging my break even like that. It's actually insane. Like, this was just full luck. Like, I could have got filled weird up here, and then take profit ends up getting smashed like that. So this is a A+ short in my opinion. If you didn't catch it today, or you faded it out, I suggest you really just kind of study AMD structure, especially when we're in a premium and we have these 15-minute gaps, because almost all the time these play out towards these 15-minute gaps, especially when we're delivering off of a higher time frame balance like a 4-hour gap. even though we do have rejection wicks towards the upside after completely filling in this NWOG, it's still valid to take this short towards a 15-minute because it's an agreed upon DOL, right? So that is the recap for the day. And yeah.